Hi everyone, John Cottrell here of MBODY Yoga, and welcome to Soft Flow Yoga. Thanks for joining me. Now, in celebration of the new moon, we're going to do a practice that will involve a moon pose, which is half moon posture. Now, we're doing this to celebrate the new moon, which can represent renewal, rejuvenation, rebirth, just something that incorporates starting fresh. So that's what we'll be doing today, and just using that particular pose to help with that celebration. So we have to work up to that posture because half moon is a balancing pose, and it also involves some pretty strong and stretchy hamstrings. So that's what we'll be focusing on, and then we'll work our way up to that posture. Now we do need some props today. Now I've got 4 blocks here. Now if you don't have 4 blocks, that's okay. What you can use instead is actually a wall, a chair, a table, something that will help you with some balancing. I'll be using the 4 blocks, and I'll show you how I'll be using those later. I also have my bolster over here on this side. I may not use that in the practice, but I like to have it just in case. Sometimes I like to use it in Shavasana. And I'm also sitting on a blanket, and we use that in our practice, something soft to sit on and to kneel on. So be sure you have a blanket or a towel or even double up on your yoga mats. Let's go ahead and begin. We'll start in our seated position, and we like to get into breath, tune into our bodies, and also set our intention. So I think this is a wonderful opportunity to move into a meditative state of mind and body, not only to prepare for our practice, but to set the intention of our practice. So join me here. You might start with a few deep breaths. You might breathe in deeply and completely, in through your nose, and a complete exhale through your mouth. Do that again. A nice full breath in and exhale. Let everything relax here for a moment. And just come to stillness. Continue with a slow, steady breath. Breathing in a way where you can feel your breath. Feel it move through your body. For example, as you breathe in, you might even feel your breath rising upward to fill your lungs. A very expansive breath. Then as you exhale, draw your belly button in towards your spine. Just a little pull sensation. Doesn't have to be too significant. Awareness of the breath, the feeling, and the sound of your breath. So if your breath is a little soft right now, just turn up the volume of your breath. Again, breathing in, feeling the breath rising to fill your lungs. Exhale and gently draw the belly button in towards your spine. Just continue here. Our breathing meditation. Feel free to close your eyes if you'd like. Moving inside now, ready to set your intention. Our new moon practice. Renewal, rebirth, rejuvenation, refresh. Maybe there's something you'd like to release from your body, from your mind. And as you do so, you create space within so that then you can then accept what you do need or want or desire. Hold on to that intention. Let it be the motivation for your practice today. Let's take 3 more breaths. Mindful breathing. We'll add a very simple movement, stepping into our moving meditation. When you're ready, inhale and extend your arms out and all the way up. Be sure there's good energy through your arms, hands, and your fingers as you reach for the ceiling. Then as you exhale, reach out. Feel as if you're going to touch the walls on either side of you. And just slowly bring your arms back down to your side as you complete the exhale. That's 1 round of breath. Let's do another one. Inhale, reaching out all the way up. Good extension through your arms. Exhale, reach out with energy. Exhaling, bringing the arms back down. Now go ahead and continue this movement with your own pace of breath and movement. Reaching high, extending outward, complete breath. Just continue. Now your eyes can be open for this. Just gently gaze forward or downward, but you can keep your eyes closed here too. Very nice. Setting your intention for renewal. Now finish the breath that you're on and take 2 more breaths. Take your time. And when you're complete, just let your hands relax in your lap, your shoulders relax, and just return to the stillness of your body, but continue to feel the movement of your breath. Good. While still seated, go ahead and bring your hands behind you. Maybe just prop yourself up onto your fingertips, just to keep your arms nice and long here. You're gonna roll the shoulders back, and as you're able, squeeze your shoulder blades together behind you. I like to imagine that there's a pencil right up and down my spine. I'm squeezing towards that center to squeeze the pencil to hold on to it. You're gonna tip the chin up just a little bit. So we've created this mild back bend in this seated posture. So we're gonna breathe in, and as you inhale, press fingertips into the floor, feel the energy in your arms, and of course, feel the breath rise to fill your lungs. Exhale, pull the belly button in towards spine and continue to squeeze your shoulder blades behind you, or imagine you're squeezing to hold on to that pencil. Inhale, press into the earth, breath rising, fill your lungs. Exhale, pull belly in, squeeze shoulder blades together. You can really feel this energy in the body. Sometimes what I like to do is when I feel the body engaging like this, it's like I'm filling myself up, getting strong, powerful, but also just full. I even think of what is it that I want to release, and I'm just filling myself up with that space. And then when I exhale and relax, it all releases. So we're gonna do 1 more breath in. And with this exhale, just release, relax, come out of the pose, feel that change of that very active body now to this more relaxed body, feeling as if you released, you let go. Good. And that can be that sense of renewal, that feeling of being refreshed. All right, let's do the same thing in a forward fold. We're gonna do this a little bit differently. We usually do this in cobbler's pose. Let's go ahead and extend the legs this time. Since we do need to stretch out our hamstrings for our half moon pose, we wanna stretch out the hamstrings. So we'll just do a forward fold here. Actually, this is where a big pillow or cushion can come in handy. I'm just gonna place mine right here in my lap, just like this. So just be sure at first that your legs feel as straight as can be. Do flex your feet. If you need to bend your knees, that's fine. And just place your hands on your mat or on your blanket if you're sitting on one, right next to your hips. And just push into the earth to sit up as tall as you can. If your shoulders feel rolled forward, just roll them back. Continue to hold on to that pencil behind you. Make sure your neck feels nice and long here too. All right, inhale, feel tall. Exhale, pull belly in, just to energize the body once again, to secure the body in this pose. 1 more breath. Now, we're going to keep this lengthening through the torso, but then inhale and extend the arms up into the air, straight up. Exhale, start to hinge forward, right out over your pillow here. Then exhale, just bring your hands down to your legs, just over your cushion. We're going to continue to breathe in, feel tall and lengthened. Exhale, I'm just going to slide down the legs a little bit as I kind of roll and fold over my cushion. Now the pillow here is really just acting as support for my body, so I can really just rest here. You can even lower your head like this. Now, if you want to make this even more restorative, meaning a disengagement of the body, which you can do, whatever you've got, book, a block, a pillow, just bring it in. And if you can get low enough, perhaps rest your forehead on the block like this, and then your forward fold becomes a little bit more relaxed. And what we get to experience here is the straightening of the legs, so a light stretch in the hamstrings. I'm in this forward fold, but I don't feel like I have to hold myself up because I feel supported by my pillow and my block. My back is rounded, so I feel actually a nice stretch through the back body. Continue to breathe in and out, nice and deep. Get a nice sense of release and renewal. Let's take 3 more breaths here. I'm just going to move my block and just lift my head and just kind of look out past my toes. That will start the re-extension of the spine. As you're able, free your hands and reach forward. We'll inhale and hinge our way back up. Reach towards the ceiling. Just like this, then exhale, bring your arms down to your side. And that completes the forward fold. Let's move the cushion out of the way here and even kind of shake things out. All right, let's get ready for our next move. Just maneuver your way carefully to your hands and knees. You may still want to use your blanket or towel, whatever you've got to create that nice cushion of support. So meet me here on your hands and knees, moving through cat and cow, 2 poses that flow nicely together. So an inhale to tip the chin up as we arch the back. A little back bend feel like this. Exhale, tuck the pelvis under. Feel your belly button pull up towards your spine, chin towards chest. Feel the curvature of the spine, almost like that seated forward fold we just came out of. Inhale, tip the pelvis back. Feel the belly just kind of drop down towards the floor, creating an arched back, a back bend. Heart opens, even look forward. We create this back bend in cow pose. Exhale, we round it out, making our way back to cat pose. And just continue to flow like this at your own pace. This is really nice because it gets nice mobility through the spine. And go as slowly as you'd like, but really just moving at the pace of your own breath. So if you're moving a little faster than I am, that's fine. Now finish the breath that you're on and take 2 more. And then just come to stillness here in a neutral tabletop posture. Take a breath or 2 here. And we'll crawl off our pad and just set it to the side. And return to hands and knees. Right about here is good. And we're going to step the hands forward as we prepare for our downward facing dog. Stepping the hands forward, do spread out your fingers pretty wide here, creating a good base, but also stretches between the fingers. Push into the floor to flatten the palms so they stretch open, but also feel the strength in your lengthened arms here. Tuck your toes under. Another breath for cat and cow. So inhale for cow, exhale into cat, but hold the cat posture
And then lift your knees off of your mat, send your hips into the air. Feel your chest naturally sink between the arms. Now you might need to adjust the feet a little bit. I like to tiptoe forward slightly, even take the feet slightly wider. I even change my hand posture or position, just slightly wider on the mat, just providing a little bit more space in my shoulders. Taking a breath here, perfectly fine to keep the knees very bent, which I encourage. That will help you to find mobility in your hips as you send them high into the sky, lengthening through the spine. All right, out of downward facing dog, we step both feet forward towards the center of the mat until they're flat on the mat here, and then just slide your fingertips towards your toes. Just hold here for 2 seconds, just to get a little bit more stretch in the backs of the legs. Then inhale, slide your hands up to your shins or knees, holding here, and we're about halfway up, okay, or halfway down, depending on how you want to view that. Feet are nice and solid on the floor, so you feel secure and balanced. There's a good bend in the knees, and the spine is very straight. Feel an imaginary energy moving through the crown of your head towards the front of the room, and an energy moving through your hips and tailbone towards the back of the room. Now, if you need a little support to hold you here, if you happen to be near a wall or a table or chair, or bring in some blocks, that's fine here too. This is really also getting us set up and ready for our half moon pose, because there is this lengthening through the legs, even with bent knees, and certainly a lengthening through the torso and spine. We're going to continue to stand from here. Now go ahead and start shifting your weight into your heels until your toes feel a little lighter on your mat. Bend your knees to lower your hips, lifting your chest. We're going to pause here about 45 degrees. You can bring your hands to your thighs or even arms out to the side if you can. Push or drive your heels into the floor to help you stand up tall and reach up into the air. Big stretch as we stand, extended mountain pose. Then as you exhale, bring your arms down to your side. We've made it to our first standing position, mountain pose. Take a moment to roll the shoulders, big circles here. I'm rolling them backward a few times with the breath, and then forward a few times. Just loosening up the shoulders a little bit. Let's go through our half salute to the sun, folding forward and then coming right back up, just as we did here. So let's return to mountain pose. I'm just facing forward on my mat. Ready to go. Inhale, extend both arms up into the air. Great stretch. Exhale, extend your arms out to the side, spreading your wings. Bend your knees and sit back into that imaginary chair. You might pause for a second at that 45-degree angle. Arms can come down to your thighs or knees. And then I like to just kind of slide down the shins towards the ankles and toes, rounding the spine, letting the head release. Then inhale, slide the hands back up the legs. Return to that half forward fold, that long spine, tabletop posture. Now shifting weight back into the heels, bend your knees, lower your hips, lifting chest, 45-degree angle. This time I'm just going to push hands into the thighs to help stand. And then finish by extending both arms all the way up. Nice energy through your fingers. Exhale, arms return to your side. So that's our half salute to the sun. Another big circle here. A couple of times backwards and then forward. All right, let's do a variation of Warrior 1 and Warrior 2. All righty, and these poses will help us get us ready for our half moon posture. Once again, starting in mountain pose. Let's soften the knees. Let's keep the knees bent, just like this. Start shifting weight into your right foot. Well rooted and grounded there, so your left foot feels a little bit lighter. I'm going to lean forward just a little bit, so I'm leaning towards the toes and even gripping the mat a little bit with my toes. And I'm picking up my left foot and just tapping it back, keeping the heel lifted until it just kind of naturally stops, just like that. Now watch my arm and my leg here. I'm going to turn my arm out just like this. I'm doing the same thing with my leg, okay? So I'm getting the foot to plant into the floor, shifting the weight back so I'm balanced here on my 2 feet. Knees are relatively soft here, but perhaps a little bit more bend in this right knee. Left leg a little bit straighter. Hands on your hips. Push your pelvis down, or imagine you're pushing your pelvis down with your hands, and get as tall as you can through your torso, providing a little bit more space through the belt line, and then just turn to face forward. So you're facing forward as well as your right knee and your toes. Go ahead and inhale and extend both arms up into the air. And this exhale, bend your elbows until your arms are about 90 degrees. So this is a variation of Warrior One I like to do. A couple of breaths here, just to get the sensation of standing on 2 feet with some distance between the feet. So a light lunge. All right, let's go ahead and inhale, extend the arms up into the air. Exhale, bring the arms down and hands to hips. And we're going to take this to a variation of Warrior Two. First, I'm just shifting the weight into my front foot, kind of picking up that back foot. Okay, I'm just lifting the heel actually enough so I can just step back. Just take a step back. Doesn't have to be too far. A little bit is fine. And then just kind of coming back to center. Alrighty, I just made this distance between the feet a little bit wider. Now inhale, let's re-extend the arms straight up. This exhale, turn your torso slowly towards the left side of the room as you bring your arms down to parallel. Just hold here for a moment. Now this leg for me needs to turn out, alrighty? It'll just feel a bit more natural with my toes pointing out that direction rather than in this direction. So whatever feels good for your leg, mainly your hip bone, knee, and ankle in those joint sections of the body. This is our Warrior Two. Let's take this even further. We're going to start to shift forward just a little bit. So rather than being nice and tall, you're going to angle the upper half of the body a little bit. And then rotate the arms, bring the right hand down. I like to bring it to the inner leg because I want to actually feel like I'm pushing gently this leg towards the wall that's behind me. Just like this. And then the left hand reaching straight up into the air. This is side angle pose. Now this too is actually getting us ready for our half moon posture. Half moon is a balancing position. And so imagine having this nice opened heart space, arms extended, but you're actually balancing on this front foot with this back leg in the air. And that's where we're headed a little bit later in the practice. For now, breathe in, just open up. Exhale, just kind of fold and turn and bring both hands to your thigh here. We're going to rise up onto the tiptoes, turning the leg this direction. Rise up on the toes, heel lifted. Some weight forward into this front foot. So a little push, step the feet together, then stand up nice and tall, reaching both arms all the way up. Exhale, arms return to your side. Very good. Maybe a little circle of the shoulders again. We do the exact same thing on the other side. I'm just going to turn this way. Starting with softness in the knees, shifting weight now into left foot. Nicely planted. I'm leaning forward slightly, a little grip of the mat with my toes, picking up that right heel and start tapping the foot back until it just naturally stops right there. Same opening here. The arm and leg. The arm is just a way of demonstrating how the leg is also opening. Plant the heel. Shift your weight back so you're balanced on 2 feet. Place your hands on your hips. Push your pelvis down to get nice and tall. There is the space through the belt line. Turn to face forward. Now, inhale, extend the arms all the way up. Exhale, bend elbows to 90 degrees. I like to just check in with the body here briefly, being sure my left knee and toes are pointing forward. A couple of breaths. This is our variation of Warrior One. Now inhale, extend the arms straight up. Exhale, bring your arms down and bring them back down to your hips. All right, let's get set up for our Warrior Two variation. So I'm shifting forward, getting weight into this front foot. Remember to step the right foot back, just a step, just like that, and then come back to center. Inhale, re-extend the arms straight up into the air. Exhale, now turn torso towards the right side of the room as your arms come down to parallel. Now check in with the right leg. If you need to make an adjustment, my toes are kind of pointing out this way, but I like to turn them out just a little bit. Just feels a bit more natural in my hip.
There's our variation of warrior two. I'm saying variation because I could probably go a little wider here, more distance between the feet, okay? And then our mild side angle pose, just a reach out sensation, rotate the arms, not going down too low, meaning my left hand is not even close to touching the floor, which is where you could potentially go in this pose. But in this case, left hand is just on the inner left leg, giving that leg a nudge towards the wall that's behind me. Right arm reaching up into the air. Side angle pose, getting ready again for our half moon pose. You can think of these openings through the heart, your chest, your hips as a way of letting go, releasing. And then as you inhale, maybe a refreshing, breathing in what you're needing and desiring. All right, breathe in, nice opening here. Exhale, just turn or rotate to face your left knee and toes. I'm going to turn that whole back leg in so the toes are pointing forward, lifted heel. Shifting weight into this front foot. A little push to step the feet together. There we are. Inhale, extend both arms into the sky. And exhale, arms down to the side. All right. Circle the shoulders if you'd like. Now let's go through a second version of Warrior 1 and Warrior 2, moving through a sun salutation and just getting the body really prepared for the next set of poses. Back to mountain pose. Follow me. Inhale, extend both arms up, big stretch, lengthening through the sides of your body. Exhale, spread your wings. Bend your knees, sit back into that imaginary chair. Arms are coming down. You're lowering your chest, which will naturally round. Your back will naturally round. Head releasing. Inhale, slide your hands up to your shins or knees. Find that flat back, parallel to the floor. But this exhale, we're going to fold all the way down. Get as low as you can, which means bend the knees a lot. Bring the hands to the floor out in front of you. Spread out your fingers and start walking or stepping the feet back to the back end of your mat. Once they're there, maybe lower the hips a little bit so they're at shoulder level. You'll be in plank pose. Push firmly into the floor with the hands, strong arms, really active upper body. And the exhale, bend your knees quite a bit, but then send your hips up into the air. And there's that sink of the chest between the arms. You might need to tiptoe forward a little bit, adjusting the feet, perhaps taking them wider, and then hands a little wider. All right, now we're getting ready for the second version of our Warrior 1. We'll start by stepping the left foot to center on the mat, just for balance. We're going to pick up the right foot, then inhale and extend the leg back behind us. Reach. Hold here for a moment, because this too is getting us ready for half moon, because we will be balancing on one foot with a leg in the air. So this kind of mimics that. Breathe in. Exhale, bend right knee. Bring right knee in underneath you towards your chest or chin as you shift your whole upper body forward, shoulders over your wrists, and just set the toes on the floor. Your heel will be lifted. There's a lot of weight up front. Let's finish by bringing the left knee to the floor. Pull the weight away from the hands so you can free this right hand. Reach back. Go get your right foot. Pick it up from the ankle. Step it forward so it's just perhaps behind the right wrist here. Let's relift the left knee. Same turn of that leg as we did earlier to plant the heel into the floor. There's still a lot of weight forward, so I'm walking the hands back. See how everything just kind of pulled back more towards center? And then bring hands up to thigh here, and I'm lifting, getting to that 45-degree angle. Make sure there's not too much weight forward, but you've got some good balance, some good weight behind you as well. Check in, make sure your right knee and toes are pointing forward. Lift a little bit, free your hands, reach out, reach up. Warrior 1. Let's hold here. Pay attention to what's going on with this back leg. Getting a nice stretch through the hip flexor, okay? Inhale right here. Exhale, here's our turn of the torso towards the left side of the room as your arms come down to parallel. I'm going to turn this left leg out. Feel that rotation that's happening from this space here. A little bit more distance between the feet. Nice deep lunge. Second version of Warrior 2.
Side angle. I'm going to reach out and maybe reach out a tiny bit more. Rotate the arms. My hand, now really my forearm is braced against the inner leg. Left hand reaching into the sky. Nice breathing here. We're going to do something else to help us prepare for our half moon. Breathe in, follow me. Exhale, carefully turn towards your thigh, right hand on or both hands on the thigh. I'm going to turn this left leg in, rise up on my tiptoes. I'm going to lower myself down a little bit. I'm going to bring in my blocks. Now maybe you've got a wall. If you need to break pose and get near a wall or a chair or a table, that's fine. Now I'm just using my blocks here just for balance, just to hold myself up. Because I'm going to pull the weight back a little bit into this back leg and foot. I'm bending the knee. And what I'm doing with this front foot is actually turning it inward, okay? Inward, quite a bit. So my toes are almost pointing towards the left corner of the room. And I'm just putting the weight back into that foot. And just stepping this foot in a little closer, okay? And keeping my hands on whatever object out there that's going to keep me balanced. So hands on the blocks in this case, or table, or the seat of a chair. I'm putting a little bit more weight into this front foot and just picking up the left foot here, alrighty? So just to simulate balancing on one foot. Okay, I'm just going to do that 3 times. Puts a lot of strength and energy in this right leg. All right, I'm going to step my blocks forward a little bit and bring the left foot forward, meeting the other toe, and I just turn my right foot so everything's facing forward. Now that was a lot of breakdown there. Let's see if we can do the other side. So now we're going to forward fold. So let's take a halfway lift. Exhale, fold, bend your knees quite a bit, bring your hands to the floor. Walk or step the feet back, plank pose. Make sure you lower the hips to about shoulder level here. Strong hands, strong arms. Breathe in. Exhale, bend knees, send hips into the air, sinking the chest. Adjust your feet and hands to fully arrive in your downward facing dog. We're getting ready for our lunges, second version of Warrior 1. Start by stepping right foot to center on your mat for balance. Pick up the left foot, then inhale, extend the left leg straight back. Remember, this is mimicking balancing on one foot. So as straight as can be with an energized foot. Flex the foot or point your toes. Inhale. Exhale, bend the left knee. Bring the knee in underneath you toward your chest or chin, shifting forward, shoulders over wrists. Set the left set of toes down. Your heel will be lifted. Set the right knee down onto the floor. Pull back so you take the weight off the hands. Free your left hand. Go get your left ankle. Pick up the foot and step it up a little higher on your mat. We're just making more distance between the feet as we set up for Warrior 1. Hands on the floor in front, picking up right knee, pivot or turn right heel to the floor. Stepping the hands back so I get more weight and pressure in that back foot so I'm more balanced. Rising up to my thigh here, lifting up to help extend spine 45 degrees. Here, make sure you have good energy and strength in that back foot. Free the hands, take them out, and then up as you inhale. Exhale, just finish here in Warrior 1. Noticing the sensation in the right hip flexor. Should be a nice stretch or pull sensation, gently though. Inhale. Exhale, turn torso towards right side of the room as your arms come down to parallel. Hold for a moment. Make any adjustments with this back leg as you need to. I like to turn mine out. Ready for side angle. Reach out, and if you're able, just a tiny bit more, just to take this pose a little bit deeper, rotate the arms. Now my forearm is braced against my inner left thigh, right arm reaching straight up into the air. Nice side angle pose. Now let's do another exercise, getting us ready for our half moon balance. Breathe in. Exhale, carefully turn. I'm bringing hands down to the thigh. Now I'm getting low enough to bring in my blocks again. Again, use a wall, table, or the seat of a chair. weight forward. I'm just really relying on these blocks so I can actually turn that back leg and return to my toes. I want you to see this. When I'm stepping the blocks back, bending this right knee just to take some pressure off this front foot so I could turn the foot inward. The whole leg is turning inward, just turning it inward. This will make sense later. Okay, then I'm going to step the blocks forward, shifting the weight forward, even a little step of this right foot in. Alrighty, still using the blocks or whatever you're using it for balance to then just pick up the right foot to simulate balance. I'm just picking it up 3 times. You're going to feel the energy and strength in this left thigh. Stepping the blocks forward so I can step the right foot fully forward. Excuse me. Turning the left foot so it's facing forward as well. I'm going to keep my blocks here, but I'm going to bring my other blocks in. All 4 blocks. Right there. And we're just going to rise up. So this is also simulating using a table or the seat of a chair. So just lifting yourself up. Now shifting weight into the heels, bend the knees. That should be able to take the weight off the blocks out there, and then stand up nice and tall, reaching all the way up. Then exhale, arms return to your side. Very good. Let's do a little circle of the shoulders again. Alrighty, let's go ahead and move right into our half moon pose. Remember, it's a balancing posture. We're standing on one leg while the other one is extended into the air. All right, and we kind of simulated that. It's also what I call a sideways pose. Just like Warrior 2, I would consider a sideways pose, Warrior 2, and also side angle. And this is probably the best or the closest pose to half moon, half moon pose, our side angle pose. So let's return to the top of the mat. I got my stacked blocks. Again, use a table, chair, wall, something for balance. Just bringing the floor closer to you. Okay, follow me. We're going to inhale, extend the arms out and up. Exhale, spread your wings a little, bend your knees, folding, but go ahead and let your hands rest on whatever is out in front of you. Here, in this case, my blocks. I'll just keep referring to my blocks. Here. So go ahead and rely on the blocks here. I'm leaning into them a little bit, so it just helps me to be in this fold. Now, before I start to balance on one foot, I'm going to turn my right foot in, like we did a little earlier. I'm just turning it in slightly. Now, I'm turning it in because we're going to be taking this left leg back and out, and we're going to be opening the body. But sometimes we have tight inner legs or tight hips, and so we aren't able to open up as much as we would like to. So this is my little cheat sheet where I turn the whole leg inward so that when I open up, I have the space. Okay, I'm leaning into the blocks, putting weight into my right foot. Be sure your knees feel soft here. And then I'm going to start tapping the left foot back. I'm just really dancing on the toes there. It's barely on the floor because all my weight is more forward and my hands on the blocks and this right foot. I'm going to pick up the foot from the floor, the back foot, left foot, flex, and then lift right about there. Now, ideally, I'm going to try to get it to parallel to the floor. If it's a little bit lower, that's fine. But flex the foot because that will energize the leg. Now, I'm going to keep my right hand on the stacked blocks. Take the left arm out to the side like an airplane wing, and then start to open up sideways. This is our half moon pose. And because we turn this leg in, we might be able to open up pretty well here. Alrighty? So I'm going to fully extend my arm. I'm going to lift my left leg a little higher, and I can even open up a little bit more. Alrighty, now if you lose your balance, please don't worry about that. This is half moon pose. Breathe in, then exhale, let's come out of the pose. We can start lowering the leg, we'll turn, bring the left hand to the blocks. This whole left foot can come to the floor. I'm turning my right set of toes forward. I'm stepping forward, returning to a forward fold. I'm shifting weight back into my hips and heels so I can free my hands. Take both arms out to extend the spine and arms like airplane wings and stand up nice and tall, reaching up into the air. Good. Exhale, arms return to your side. So that's our half moon pose. I'm going to do the same thing. Now this time I'll be facing away from you because I'm going to still do it on this side. Alrighty, just do your very best. Use those props, use your blocks, use that chair, because it will help you, because then you can kind of hold the posture. Here we go. Inhale, extend the arms up, nice lengthening through the sides of the body. Exhale, spread your wings, sitting back into an imaginary chair. Here, bringing hands down to your blocks. And just rely on whatever object you're holding on to. I'm going to turn my left foot in slightly. Again, making it more available to me to open up for the half moon pose. Still relying strongly on the blocks, leaning forward. I'm picking up the right foot and just tapping it back until I'm just kind of dancing on the toes there. I'm going to pick up the right foot, flexing the foot. Right about there. My left hand will stay on the blocks here. I'm also extending the spine. I didn't say that before. By pushing into the blocks, it allows me to extend the spine so my crown feels like it's moving forward. Take my airplane winged arm out to the side and up as I start to open up towards the right side of the room. Now you don't have to open up all the way. Maybe it's partially open, but you're still doing the pose, especially if you're balancing on this left foot. This right leg is in the air, it's as straight as can be, and you're extending your right arm into the air. Half moon pose. Breathe in, and the exhale to return this right hand down to your blocks. Bring in the right foot down to the earth. And bringing both feet together, all 10 toes pointing forward, leaning back so I can free my hands, extend the spine, and the arms out to the side. Drive heels into the floor, standing up as tall as you can here. Reach up, exhale, arms down to your side. Very good. So that's our celebration of the new moon by practicing half moon pose. Very good. So let's continue that celebration. We're just going to make our way down to the earth and really get into a little bit more restorative work and some light stretches and poses to continue that renewal, that release, refreshing, and rebirth feeling. I'm coming back up to the top of the mat. I'm actually just going to bend over to move my blocks out of the way. Let's begin here in mountain pose. Let's inhale, extend the arms into the air. Exhale, we're going to swan dive forward, so we're spreading the wings, bend your knees, and carefully make your way down towards the earth. Take your time. Now, you don't have to touch the ground at all. Inhale, slide your hands up the legs a little bit to extend the spine. Now, on this exhale, do bend your knees quite a bit. Let your back round, hands down to the floor, and start walking both feet back to the back end of your mat. Once again, returning to our strong plank pose. Lower your hips to about shoulder level. Hands press firmly into the floor, strong arms. Inhale. On this exhale, all we're going to do is bring the knees to the floor. We're going to sit back briefly into hero pose, just here, but then sit off to the side, swing the legs around to the front, like that, sitting in the center of the mat. Now, have 1 or 2 blocks nearby, or a couple of hardbound books here. We're going to roll down onto our backs. Draw your knees into chest, and add some movement here. This might feel good, especially in the hips and low back area. I like to do figure 8s, circles, rock side to side, just whatever feels good. And then also get into the feet. Since we did all that balancing, you may want to give the legs a little bit of a massage, or the feet and ankles a little bit of a massage. We're going to move into bridge pose, and then we'll do another leg extension. Let's start with bridge. We'll set the feet onto the floor. Now your feet and knees can be hip distance apart, but I like to take my feet slightly wider than my hips because it gives my back and hips a little bit more space. Make sure you can grab one of your props, a block or a pillow even. You're going to inhale to fill up your lungs. Exhale through the mouth. Feel the air leave your belly. And then lift your hips high enough away from the floor to slide your book or block underneath you. And then just take a seat. And I turn my block up to what I call level 2, which is just the right height as I relax here in this pose. Returning to our intention or theme of our practice today, renewal. And what I believe in yoga, when we practice back bends, they're also called heart openers. And so a couple of things can happen while our hearts are open. One, we can kind of release. The whole front side of the body here is kind of in this open status. And so you can think of maybe thoughts and feelings and sensations releasing from the body. Even just imagine that sense. Even each exhale, blowing everything out. So that's one intention or one way of thinking of heart openers, releasing. But also, because the heart and body, in this case, they're open, you can also receive. So the heart is open so things can come in. So once you've made space by breathing out and opening up, we now have made room for that refreshness, rebirth, renewal. Breathe in what you're needing and desiring and wanting. 2 actions, breathing out to let go, but also breathing in to receive. Good. Now I'm going to change my blocks here. I'm going to turn my one block to level 1, but bring in a second block. This might be a little too high, but we'll see. And then take another seat. I just need something a little bit more stable. So make sure you have something stable underneath you, either a couple of blocks or hardbound books. I'm going to heel toe my feet in a little closer together because we're going to extend right leg into the air. Just a little stretch, flexing through the foot, feeling the heel reach for the ceiling. Just kind of reinventing, in a sense, the half moon pose where we're standing on one foot with a lengthened leg. We're just turning it upside down and just extending the leg here. Now go ahead and bend the knee, set the foot onto the floor, and we'll do the other side. So picking up left foot and extend the left leg into the air. Now don't worry if the leg doesn't straighten completely, so it's okay if the knee needs to bend here, but do flex the foot. Feel like the heel is reaching into the air. Now if your leg is lower like this, that's fine too. It doesn't have to be straight up and down, but just up in the air, extending. A couple more breaths. Good extension here. Feel that good energy in the legs as well. Go ahead and bend your knee and set your foot back down onto the floor. Position the feet so they feel secure, balanced. You feel supported so you can press feet into the floor. Lift your hips high enough now to remove your blocks, set them to the side, and then return to the ground. Go ahead and extend the legs out front and reach your arms behind you. Reach and stretch here. Let's bring both knees into chest. Roll to one side. Send both knees over to one side, but roll to one side and press yourself up and come to hands and knees. So I'm just going to flip around this way. While here, just do a quick cat-cow flow. While you're doing that, let me explain what we're going to do next. So we did those heart openers, and now we can do a pose which I might call a heart closer. And that's child's pose. This is where a big pillow or cushion can come in handy. So I'm going to bring my bolster in, take my knees a little bit wider, and start to sit back towards my heels. We're really just resting on this cushion. I'm just going to turn my head to the side, like this. Now, normally we would have your forehead down, either on the floor or on your cushion. And you can close your eyes. Think of it as a way of moving internally, move inward. Now, let's say that in our heart opening, you received all that you need or want to receive, or the intention of that. And then I like to kind of lock it all up inside. And I like to flip over, coming to a pose like child's pose, and just breathe it all in, as if you took this wonderful treasure, gathered it all up. You want to hide it inside because it's just special for you. Tucked away nicely in your heart, in your mind's eye. Taking deep breaths as well. Maybe this treasure that you've now accumulated, let it circulate through your body. Taking deep breaths, feeling all that goodness move entirely through you. Soak it all in, absorb it all. That's that renewal. 3 more breaths. After your 3rd breath, we're going to make our way to our final and resting position. Now, you can stay here in child's pose for the duration if that feels good for you. But if you need to kind of reopen the body, you might come up onto hands and knees, move your pillow out of the way, sit back, then off to the side and swing the legs around to the front again. Scooting forward so you have room behind you, and go ahead and roll down onto your back. Feel free to bring the knees in one more time. Let's go ahead and add one more pose before we finish. If you were in child's pose, you can always return to child's pose. But while on our backs, let's take a quick twist. Let's take the knees over to the left side of the room as you extend your right arm off to the right side of the room, just for about 5 to 10 breaths. Nice, full and complete breaths. This is wonderful for the low back and your hips. And when you're set, come back up to center, just pause here. And we'll take the knees down to the other side. So knees to the right as you extend your left arm off to the left. Moving into our closing sequence of postures. And within these closing postures, we can really come back to our theme and intention of renewal. Moving a little slower, more intentionally, mindfully. Ready to restore the body. After our dynamic posture, which was our half moon today, and then fully releasing and relaxing. Let's come back up to center. Hold on to the knees or shins, a light flex of the feet. Let's take both legs wide here, like so. This is a variation of happy baby pose that I like to do, just to get a light stretch in the inner legs. Take some deep breaths. We'll do one more hip opener in our closing sequence. Bring the knees together, set the feet onto the floor, And the legs are still together, but then let the knees open out to the side. Soles of the feet are touching, and the knees can just kind of fall open naturally. Now you can certainly place props underneath the knees here. I think my blocks are nearby, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. That way it doesn't feel like they're being pulled too forcefully open, but a little bit more relaxed since they're resting on something here. Now the arms can just be out by your side, but with a little bit more intention, you can bring one hand to your belly and one hand to your heart, and just breathe into these spaces. Return to your personal intention. What is it that you wanted to release, to let go? And what is it that you want to embrace, to bring into your body and mind as a feeling of being refreshed and renewed? Celebrating the new moon. Two more breaths. Now, you're welcome to find a posture that you can completely relax in. That might be here in this reclining cobbler's pose, this nice hip opener. Or you might extend the legs out in front of you with your arms down by your side in Shavasana. But of course, you can always return to that child's pose if you'd like. Just anywhere that feels good for you, that feels congruent with your intention today. And then just find complete stillness. But do pay attention to the simple, gentle movement of the breath. Feeling your breath, listening to the sound of your breath. Just as we did at the beginning of our practice, we sat in stillness. We sat with breath. Do the same here. Just be with your breathing. This meditative state of mind and body. You're welcome to stay here as long as you'd like to, especially if you feel completely relaxed and just want to stay in this meditative state a little bit longer. Please do so. Even as I end the practice and come up to seated, you can stay wherever you are, whether that's in your reclining cobbler's pose or Shavasana or even child's pose. When you are ready to move, just deepen the sensation of breath. Take 5 deep breaths. Feel movement return to your body. And when you're ready, move as slowly as you can. First, perhaps just roll to one side of your body if you're lying down. You might pause in this nurturing pose for a moment. And then slowly press your way up to a seated position. Feel free to sit on your blanket or a pillow or a block.
And sit up as tall as you can. Nice lengthened spine. Relax shoulders, arms, and hands. For the moment, your hands can just rest in your lap. Take a breath. And you can just keep your hands as they are, or bring hands to heart center. Take one more full and complete breath. And as we come to the close of our practice together, we bow, saying, Namaste. Thank you so much for watching and participating in this yoga lesson. To help us with the channel so we can continue to bring you more content, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. It's really appreciated. Namaste.